The word groundbreaking is starting to appear more often than before, using it to describe new technology, video games, or movies that seem to change the ways on how we see the entertainment field today. In the animation department, that word is the best way to describe an animation studio simply called Dreamworks Animation. This studio has revolutionized the animation industry with its technology to animate their films and its impact on our modern lives. Today, I'll be showing you the behind-the-scenes facts on all the films they have made. And, as an added bonus, I'll also be talking about the films made by Aardman Animations absolutely free. So now that you know what you're getting into, it's time for Animation Lookback to present to you Dreamworks Animation. Now let's start in the world of the 80s. Carl Rosedahl has founded a little company called Pacific Data Images by a small loan from his dad in 1980. During that time, the company only made TV logos and commercials like NBC. Then, Pacific Data got its big break in 1991 when they were asked to do the special effects for Terminator 2. Meanwhile, on October 12, 1994, former Disney executive Jeffrey Katzenberg, music executive David Geffen, and god of movies Steven Spielberg joined together to create DreamWorks SKG. In 1996, the two companies decided to merge up and decided with the technology of Pacific Data to make their first computer animated film. So, in 1998, they released Ants, the second computer animated film ever released. It's about an ant named Z, and yes, that's spelled with one letter, who joins the army with his new buddy, Barbados, to see Princess Bella that he met at a bar. They battle against the acid-spitting termites and everybody died! Well, except for Z. When he came back to his home, he's been named a war hero by General Mandible, Bella's fiancé. When he realized she danced with Z at the bar, Z panicked and escaped the colony with Bella. Now they both go out to search for the legendary Insectopia. Woody Allen, who played Z in the film, hated doing this film. Because that this guy likes to work really fast, it took him 5 days to record all of his lines, and they made him repeat the same lines over and over and over again, which he feels like it's a waste of time. Originally, Arnold Schwarzenegger was supposed to be Weaver, but when Arnold asked to do it for money, they ditched him for Sylvester Stallone because he asked to do it for free. This film got a Guinness World Record for being the first film with digital water. Now, you might think that this film looks a lot like Pixar's A Bug's Life, right? Well, when Katzenberg quit Disney, John Lasseter, the head of Pixar, said that he felt betrayed when he first heard about ants. According to him and Apple King Steve Jobs, the people at DreamWorks offered to stop production of Ants if they moved the release date of A Bug's Life to a later date, because it was about to be released at the same time as their next movie, The Prince of Egypt. Pixar refused, so they moved the release date of Ants from March 1999 to October 1998. When it was released, the critics praised the film for the visual effects, the humor, and its voice acting. At the box office, it was also a great success with more than $170 million worldwide. 2 months later, they released The Prince of Egypt, based on the story of Exodus from the Bible. It's the life of Moses, a Jew who was adopted by the royal family of Egypt. He later on would become the Pharaoh of Egypt, and then reveals his true identity and goes off to fulfill his destiny to lead all the Hebrew slaves out of Egypt. Jeffrey Katzenberg always wanted to do the story of Moses. When he worked for Disney, He suggested it to then Disney CEO Michael Eisner, which he said no. Meanwhile, while forming Dreamworks in Spielberg's living room, Steven looked at Katzenberg and told him,
"Why don't we do an animated film of the Ten Commandments?"
Because that they want to make it as accurate as possible, they called upon over 600 Bible scholars, Christian, Jewish, and Muslim theologians, and Arab American leaders to make it as faithful to the original story. For the research, the entire crew went on a 2-week trip to Egypt to see and sketch the artwork of the temples that surrounded them. The animators have used a new software called the Expose tool, where they can see beyond what the camera is showing so that they can properly place the 2D characters in a 3D world. They called upon live-action special effects artists to create the 10 plagues depicted in the movie and the part where Moses split the Red Sea to cross it. The goal for the character designers is to make the characters look more realistic than any other animated film. They cross between the symmetrical Egyptian look with the natural Hebrew look. Composer and lyricist Stephen Schwartz started to work on writing the songs ever since the film's production began. He tried to write songs that would entertain and be a part of the story. When it was released, it was a total box office success with almost $220 million worldwide, and the critics gave it some good reviews. It got an Oscar nomination for Best Original Score, and it won Best Original Song for When You Believe. Because that this film has a message of God in it, it was banned in several Muslim countries, like in the Maldives, Malaysia, Indonesia, and very ironically, in Egypt. In the year 2000, Dreamworks released The Road to El Dorado. It's about 2 guys named Tulio and Miguel who won a map from a dice game with loaded dice. In the map, it reveals the lost world of El Dorado. Then, they became stowaways in Cortez's boat that was going to the New World. They managed to escape with Cortez's horse and found themselves in the City of Gold, aka El Dorado, where the civilians thought that they were gods. The production of this film was mentioned as a challenge, since they used up a lot of their creative energy on the Prince of Egypt. But it's not just that makes it a challenge for them. Usually, for any other animated film, the voice actors would record their lines alone with the director. But with Kenneth Branagh and Kevin Kline, the voice of Tulio and Miguel, they had to record all of their lines with each other, which makes it a technical challenge for the crew. For the music, it was composed by Hans Zimmer and John Powell, and the songs were done by Elton John and Tim Rice, who haven't been working with each other since The Lion King. Elton sang all the songs in the film, except for It's Tough to Be a God, which was sung by Kenneth and Kevin. When it was released on March 21st, 2000, the critics didn't really enjoy it, and it was pretty much a bomb. They only earned more than $76 million worldwide, and what's even worse, the budget for this film was $95 million. So, in all, they lost $20 million from doing this. Originally, there were supposed to be a bunch of sequels about these guys searching for more legendary places with gold. But because of the box office result, it got ditched faster than you can say screw it.